Hi, Figgy Ed here. So I noticed that I am just about 100 friend subscribers on YouTube, and I want to make a video, take a moment here to thank you for that. It's really exciting, and it just so happens that I took the day off of work today. My kids are on spring break, and my wife is off as well, so what a great opportunity to not go to work, and then even better, they're busy and happy, and I have some time to do some fig stuff, which I have a lot to do. I want to make my light video today. Super exciting stuff going on there. But yeah, I just wanted to thank you all, my first 100 subscribers. You rock. And I honestly think 100 subscribers is enough for me. My intent here on YouTube is to just generate good conversation, some nice collaboration where I get comments, where you guys share with me observations and thoughts and things you'd like to see me do or things I'm doing wrong. Again, I never pretended like I know what I'm doing here. I do a lot of experimentation, a lot of trial and error, and I learn a ton that way. I've been doing that for 10 years with gardening. I wish that I had a scientific degree in this area, horticulture or something like that, but I do not. I hope to one day go back and do that, but until then, I will be just focusing on my experiments to learn that way. I really would love to go back to school. I studied finance and mathematics. I was a science major for a couple of years, and that was the best. I absolutely love science, so I have a deep down passion for it, and that's what I want to do in life. So I put together a list of experiments, and I wanted to use this video today to share with you what those experiments are, and maybe you guys could let me know what you think about them, what you'd like to see first. I don't have a lot of time in life between work. It's very demanding. My wife works. Her job's even more demanding sometimes. My kids are in school and have all those types of activities and things that take time. So the little bit of time I have left, I've stuffed it with fig stuff, and I've taken a huge bite out of what I'm trying to do here in the fig world, and it's too much. So I don't have enough time to do even the basic things. So please tell me what you'd like to see first, or if you'd like to see something a little different. I'd love to generate some comments and stimulate some conversation here on YouTube. On the other platform that shall not be named, I think, is the rule. I'm not sure. Over there, I get a lot of comments. Yeah, sure. Granted, I post in groups with, in total, over 100,000 people, and that's great. But I really do think 100 people is enough to stimulate some really engaging conversation both ways. I learned so much over there. Some of the things that are big game-changing moments for me, I learned right there on that platform, and I was hoping to do the same here and then teach. I taught a little bit there, and from my experiences, we should say from my mistakes, we can learn a lot, all of us. And I'm doing some really cool stuff. I'm doing it all indoors. The primary reason I went indoors is to eat more figs. Yummy, perfectly ripened figs, and it's working out exceptionally well. I had my first Black Madeira the other day, and my 2 trees outside. Let's see if they give me any Black Madeira, even though they're bigger trees. And the second reason, also very important to me, I started indoors so that I can do some experiments and learn the science part of it and start understanding what figs love the most and how you could get the most out of them. And that's why I started the YouTube channel, to share that experience with you. YouTube captures the history very well. It lets me organize it. I've been able to create playlists for all of the most important topics. And it allows me to create a platform where we can collaborate and learn and comment. So tell me what it's going to take to get you guys to comment. I'd love to get more out of you, and then I'll definitely give what you guys are looking for when I can, where I can. I'll do any. So are you guys interested in, like, I have so many of these trees here. I could do air layers and give away free little trees, or give away some lights, or I have the ability to do things like that. I'm very blessed. I'm a very lucky person. And I won't hold back in that area. For anybody that knows me, I'm very giving and generous, and I like to share the love when it comes to figs, for sure, just like the love has been shared with me throughout my life. Okay, so I took some notes. We're already at 5 minutes, huh? I talk a lot, and it's going to be just so long because these notes are, I want to share with you the experiments I want to do. And then one of the experiments is related to soil. When I finished documenting all of that, well, hello, 2 pages of notes on soil alone. Soil would be, to me, the most exciting experiments that I'd be running. Also, unfortunately, the longest running experiments they would be, at least 3 years for the soil experiments. But let me just tell you quickly what I'd like to do for experiments, and I'll document this in the description below. And then please provide feedback on any of the above. So for lights, I would like to set up all of these experiments, I have to say, will start with air layers from the same mother tree. So that'll make sure that the trees are at the same maturity and it's the same variety. I'm trying to control these experiments. That's why I'm indoors. You could really reduce the variables a lot compared to outside, which is just wild for me. It's already wild outside right now. I released a whole bunch of ladybugs and some nematodes today, so that was cool. All right, for light, it's 3 major categories for experiments: light, soil, fertilizer. And they were all super exciting to me. Light, obviously, for indoors. And I have some outdoor light experiments going on, too. I want to get one of those heliostat mirrors, or whatever the mirrors are named, that can follow GPS. You put it up on the roof and it'll shine down. I don't know how much it costs, and it's probably going to be too much for me to do, but it's an idea that I have for light outdoors. All right, indoor lights. I'd like to set up controlled experiments, like I said, same mother tree, same variety and age, and I want to test duration and intensity. And I recently just got this super cool tool that I want to go do a video on this right now. It's absolutely amazing. I learned a lot about lights in the past month, and that tool right there, that meter, breaks it down for the entire spectrum from 400 to 750, the blue, the green, the red. It gives you all those measurements, and it gives you the UVA, so you get that entire spectrum. I'll do a whole video on that, hopefully today. But the experiments that I'd like to do for the future around light are 6 hours, 8 hours, 10 hours, 12 hours, 14 hours. I forgot to mention, one of the things I'd like to do here on YouTube, now that I've established that I could grow very yummy figs in here, I have been just throwing everything at them. They are maxed out on light, maxed out on fertilizers, soil, everything is maxed out, and obviously that comes with a cost. One of the obligations I have to the world, now that I'm doing this, is to identify the cheapest way to still get very yummy figs. That's one of the most important things I want to do here on the YouTube channel, is determine the minimum amount of lights needed. Fertilizers and soil's a different story. So to those ends, I'm going to run all those experiments at those hours. Could you imagine at 6 hours of light, you could get the same quality fruit as 14? I highly doubt that's the case. I'll write down my theories for each one of these before I run the tests, but you never know. So I want to do the test. I just want to rule it out. And then for intensity, it would be low, medium, and high intensity for all of those. So that right there, 15 trees. This is not easy stuff, and it's going to take a long time. And again, unless I win the lottery, this stuff's going to take me about 10 years. I'm going to convert my garage, because I think you've seen my fig forest and it's taking up a lot of space. So I'm going to convert my garage and do that. I'm going to have to start talking a little bit faster. We're at 9 minutes here. So that's the light experiments. For fertilizers, I want to try to understand the minimum amount of fertilization that you need in order to get very yummy fruits. And I've seen this across the spectrum on the different videos that I've watched. Some people say that you only need some balanced, slow release fertilizers once, maybe twice in the season, maybe a couple amendments throughout. That's the minimum. I'm going to do that test. And then I'm also going to do some tests much more specific than the way I'm doing it right now. One of them would be all of the Fox Farm natural fertilizers. There's a difference between those, and then another test I want to do is the Fox Farm Cultivation Nation line. That's about half the price, and it looks really good. And then I do want to do some experiments with the fertilizers they're using to grow other stuff that I learned about online also. That, again, I got a lot of feedback on the other platform, and I would love to start testing some of those things. Okay, so the soil, this is going to be the longest part of the video. So for soil, I want to be able to understand what combination the figs love best. And I'll set up, I don't know exactly the experiments I'm going to set up specifically just yet, but I will tell you what I'm currently doing now, and it works exceptionally well. I have very limited experience with figs, only about 4 or 5 years growing them, but I did this with my garden also, so tomatoes, peppers, all that fun stuff, and they did extremely well. So what I currently do right now, to start for my soil, I take various soil mixes from one of those like organic type of stores where, you know, the local store where they sell soil. They got a whole bunch of good soil mixes you could get there, and compost. I do like to make an organic mix for soil. So those two are the base. You could get pretty much anything, but I'm going to experiment a little bit with compost. There's definitely certain compost I'm sure figs like better than others, and there's a lot of material out there on that, so you can see that. That's for the base. And then for aeration, there's perlite, rice hulls, and pumice. The rice hulls and pumice idea I got from Basement Figs on YouTube. Absolutely the best video I've ever seen on making soil. He had it figured out. I think he got the information from somewhere else, but he had it down to a science, and it was very, very it looked like something that's going to work extremely well for anything. So I'm not sure. You could check out his video, and it's the closest I've ever seen of a video that is similar to what I do. And let me just tell you what else I do. So I added rice hulls and pumice based on Basement Figs video. I also use oyster shells. That's a medium release. It's good for calcium, magnesium, silica. I also use gypsum, another medium release. That's good for sulfur, calcium without raising pH. It also breaks up clay soils and reduces sodium toxicity. That's not good for the plants. It reduces the uptake of the nutrients, their ability to uptake it, and it could be worse for other reasons. I also use green sand. That's a very slow release. So when I'm making my soil, I'm thinking about immediate, short-term, medium-term, long-term. That's how I come up with the soil that I have. So green sand, very slow release, good for potassium, magnesium, iron, zinc, and trace minerals. It loosens clay, boosts microbial life, improves stress tolerance, and improves root development, and it promotes disease resistance. Again, I do not have this stuff in my head. I had to write it all down. I hope to one day have it in my head. I am a very good example of that saying. If I can do it, anybody can. I'm new to all of this. I'm learning as I go. I read a lot. I appreciate learning, so I have that in my advantage. But if I can do this, anybody can. I'm going to continue to read because it is not in my head yet. So rock dust, again, very slow release. I use azomite. There's other ones you could use. I use other stuff too. Lots of silica, some calcium, magnesium, potassium, zinc, over 70 other trace minerals. And it has all those same additional values as green sand that I mentioned earlier. I also put earthworm castings. These are immediately available for uptake. It's worm-processed organic matter, creating a nutrient-rich, microbe-packed soil amendment. Unlike regular compost, worm castings are immediately accessible to the plant, rich in micronutrients of iron, calcium, magnesium, sulfur, and phosphorus. Contains beneficial microbes, helps break down organic material, and enhance nutrient absorption. Contains enzymes and hormones like, I don't know what these are, auxins and gibberellins. Again, I'm learning here. So those promote plant growth. The earthworm castings also improve soil structure and water retention, and they suppress pests and disease. Okay, next is biochar, and that's a slow release amendment. Biochar is a high carbon porous material produced by heating organic matter, like wood, crop residue, or manure, in a low oxygen environment. a process called, I'm going to say these things all wrong, a process called pyrolysis. It does not add direct nutrients. It does not break down quickly, remains stable in soil for hundreds to thousands of years. It helps create and store carbon, making it a climate-friendly amendment. It enhances soil fertility, which helps it retain nutrients and prevents leaching. It improves soil structure in both clay and sand types. It boosts microbial activity, acts as a habitat for beneficial soil microbes, the fungi, the bacteria. It stabilizes pH and reduces soil toxins. It helps buffer acidic soils by increasing cation exchange capacity, CEC, and it can bind heavy metals and reduce soil contamination. Okay, that's that. Next is BioLive. It's a product that I get from Mother Earth. I'm sure you could get it from other places. I get it from Mother Earth, I think is the name of it. But look at all the stuff BioLive has it in. I used to add all these things separately until I found BioLive. So back in the gardening days, I didn't have BioLive. I did all this stuff separately. So BioLive contains fish bone meal, which is good for phosphorus and calcium, good for strong root development. It also has fish meal. It has nitrogen in it. Alfalfa meal, nitrogen and trace minerals. Crab meal and shrimp meal, nitrogen, phosphorus. Chitin, which can enhance plant defense mechanisms. I definitely can't say this next one. Langbeinite, which has potassium, magnesium, and sulfur. I've seen this around, but I just don't know. I don't know how to say it. So that's the one. And then kelp meal, potassium, and a range of micronutrients. BioLive also has beneficial microorganisms, a lot. And then BioLive is inoculated with a diverse array of the mycorrhiza. I don't even know how to say that. Mycorrhiza fungi and bacterial species that colonize the root zone and surrounding soil. These microorganisms improve resource utilization and enhance nutrient uptake. So again, these are the experiments I want to do for the soil. I'm gonna play around with that stuff. I know that the figs like it all. I did a lot of research to understand what minerals that they like and the micronutrients, and I did try to align to that. So my recipe has changed over the years, and now I'm going to continue to refine it. So I'll run a bunch of experiments and determine what figs love the best. And again, they'll be as controlled as I possibly can. So same mother tree, same age, same variety, different soils. I have some ideas, but I don't have that one figured out specifically yet. Please leave comments. Let me know what you think. Share any feedback, any thoughts you may have. Thanks again.